SK Vibemaker.
Yizzy's in the building, man.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
I'm good. The world's mad right now.
Started the year with an explosion in that.
Yeah. Kick it off with a freestyle. I was like, you know what? Everyone's talking about grime right now. It's making a little resurgence. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw my name into the mix.
Lewisham, South London.
Born and raised, yeah.
3 years in the game of being quite productive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, from the jump, man, let's like talk about your musical timeline so far. Give us a, not too deep, but, a brief insight into the musical journey so far.
Yeah, so I've done pretty much an EP every single year so far, so 3 EPs. 17 was Glastonbury, 18 was like loads of kind of festivals and solidifying myself and putting out big bodies of work. And then 19 was pretty much a mad active year, like linking up with loads of legends, like linking up with Dizzee, like chatting with Gets, like Nasty, like, it's a mad thing. And then headline show, building my own fan base. It's just, I forget half the stuff sometimes. But
going to plan.
Yeah, always go. Well, do you know, I can never plan for stuff to go well. You can only hope and try. Mm-hmm. But it's been going well, and I think more than anything, it's just kind of been a work rate. Because it's like, even if that doesn't go to plan, there's always a backup plan, or there's something else in place, or if that doesn't work, cool, you learn from that, and then you
straight up.
Yeah, you work out how to move forward from the mistakes. So. Yeah.
I made 100 bags of grime at 19. I made 100 bags of grime at 19. That's a big line. What, just in the 1 year or up until 19?
Up until 19.
Okay. Because we have to get clarity on that.
Yeah.
That's very. That's
16 to 19.
That's a nice amount. You know what I mean? Your regular grime MC's not making that.
Yeah.
And one might say a lot of grime MCs might not make that in a lifetime. I don't know if I'm chatting a lot of gas there.
It could be the case. Like,
off music, we're talking.
Yeah. Do you know, it's for me, I feel like it's really a testament to the work that I've put in and the opportunities I've been blessed to have, because I've not squandered any of them. I've always used it to the fullest and grabbed it with 2 hands, like regardless, whatever it is. And obviously when it comes to like success in grime, people measure it with, I don't know, longevity, or they measure it with who's got the biggest songs or whatnot. Obviously, where I'm a young MC, there's only so much I can kind of throw my name into the mix, because obviously I've only been around for a short amount of time. But the accolades I've managed to achieve in that time, whether that's financial success or from certain feats, like doing this at this age or whatnot, I felt like I want to be proud of them, and I want to let people know that, like, this is why I think I'm one of the best for my age. This is why, because I've done stuff that even generations from before me haven't necessarily done at my age. Like, other than, I think the only other 2 people that might have done 100 bags at 19 was maybe Chip or Dizzee Rascal. Other than that, I don't think anyone else has. And obviously I know times change and it's a bit easier to make music and put music out. Having said that though, there's loads of other MCs that are up and coming as well. Like, they could have done that. Other people could have done that. I took the opportunities. I managed to get where I am. I took the risk and invested into myself. And then, like, the money paid off, innit?
Do you like the money talk though?
No, I hate it. No. You can't go and find a song, any Yizzy song that's out, where I'm talking about money. I don't talk about it at all. Because I feel like if money's the only way you can, because there's a lot of, can I swear?
No.
All right, cool. There's a lot of crap rappers out there who make money but have no lyrical ability at all. But because they make it for a certain type of audience, they get pushed into a certain limelight. I feel like you got to have lyrical ability, and money's going to come with it.
Straight up.
Yeah. I mean, look at people like Wretch and Kano, some of the coldest lyrical spitters ever. You think they worry about money? Like, their ability gets them where they are, and if they get paid, they get paid.
Straight up.
Really, they do.
Now, let's not get it twisted though. The finances is a certain fuel to life though. You need finances, for your family, if you're supporting your family, to do what you need. Maybe not on a greedy flex, but you need a certain amount of finances. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Let me touch on a line that you said, because I feel like this is a very big line that you said. You know what I'm saying? No one at 19 in my generation has done what I've done in grime. So aside from the money talk, that's another big talk as well, you see. I mean, break down what you mean, what you really mean, what you're really saying right there.
All right, well, I could list off a couple things. So obviously, Glastonbury Festival. Biggest festival in the world.
Straight up.
Not in grime, but just like in general. I done Glastonbury at 17 years old. Now, in grime, no one's done that. And I don't know if in the world anyone's actually done that. because the only other person I know was Billie Eilish, who was also 17. So that's kind of a big feat. Like, if I'm being honest, biggest festival in the world. I don't know, even like the numbers, the streams, like, and bearing in mind, all that stuff is from my label, just on a license. Like, that's my own label. This is me doing it. So that's another thing that's like, I don't know, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million streams, even stuff on my own platform, like my YouTube channel, all the views on there. If you add up everything that I've done, like, I've never released on another YouTube, like GRM or Link Up to you. I've never done that. Everything's on my channel, my Vivo channel, or my own channel. Like, releasing through my own label. Like, everything I've done has been like very much my own thing. So it's like, when you look at all those accomplishments, no one has done that, because people have either gone and got signed to a major, or they've done deals in the past, or whoever it was. And even then, they might not necessarily done those numbers, whether it's the financial side or whether it's the certain things. Like, I don't know, I done Brixton Academy at 17 as well. And I done Glastonbury at 17. I've been in like 4 different papers. I've been on BBC, ITV, channel, like all of them, all before the age of 20. So when I say no one's done what I've done, it's not me trying to boast. It's me trying to let people know that there's a reason why I believe my name should be put into a certain conversation. And I feel like the work I have done is evident and explains that. And if it doesn't, like, you can go and check my catalogue, like, whether it's 3 minutes to live. Like, it's not just, and I'm not here just doing a bunch of crud talk either. I'm actually here trying to promote good messages. Like, I've done a whole track about knife crime, and that is my biggest song. So it's like, there's positive messages behind what I'm trying to do as well. That older parents, younger kids, like, I've done Royal Albert Hall, man. Like, it's
movements. You get me? Movements.
I don't know what to say, but
yeah, straight up.
I feel like my work speaks for itself, innit? Like, you don't have to like me. Like, everyone's got an opinion, but for what I've done in the scene of grime and for the culture, like, you have
recognize
to
the move.
respect that. Yeah,
straight.
Man. You gotta respect that, because there's a lot of conversations where grime gets brought up now, or where I walk into certain meetings and grime's a bit more a topic of a conversation, and a lot of the times it's coming back to, I don't know, some of the moves that I've been making, or some of the moves that people that are a bit older have been making. But it's like, it's evident that it's working, because doors are opening, innit?
Now, I don't want to throw any shade, but maybe I'm going to throw some shade. Because what you just said, there's something you said there. Many things that you said are quite significant. But something that you said right there, which I want to take note of, is you said everything that you've released so far, visual-wise, has been on your own YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, what can be quite misleading is artists that release their stuff on other platforms, other YouTube channels. For example, GRM or Link Up. There's a few other channels out there. There's a lot more channels out there. And they get good views because of the power of the channel.
Agreed.
And there's a lot of gas involved. People, it's misleading. It's a misperception. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas you've taken a gamble and you've decided to put everything on your own channel, and you might get like lesser views because you're trying to build up your own channel.
Yeah.
But it's like with a view to the long run.
Oh, yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
Is always the key, legacy. But I don't want to take away from anyone that actually does use those channels, because at the end of the day, it's a resource. It's there. That's what it's there for. Like, it's a business tool. It's a resource. If you use that is completely fine. That's your thing. Me personally, I've always kind of stepped with the idea that, imagine if all those platforms went down tomorrow. Where's everyone uploading their stuff? Oh, now there's a problem, innit? Right. So you need to have your own thing, like whether, even if it's just like as a backup or something. If you notice that a lot of the big artists, whether it's people like Dave, whether it's people like Fredo, anyone, even if it's like JME, they all release on their own channel now. Or if they were releasing on other platforms, they done it to an extent, and now they only release on their own channel. And a lot of them, whether they've got deals to majors or whoever it is, 9 times out of 10, the major wants to put it on their own channel as well, because they want to monetize that and get the money and blah, 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 blah. So it's like, you can see the way that it's working. It's like, if you want to use the channel, get your fan base and whatnot, and then go onto your own channel. That's great. I don't want to do that. I kind of just want to build me from the beginning, because then it's like, I've got a trail of videos from like 3 years ago. Like, you can go back and watch that. And I feel like that's something personal that like supporters that follow you and eventually will follow you in years to come can kind of go back and see that trail and feel like they're a part of the journey.
So 3 minutes to live definitely went in you went in like, not a lot of artists, MCs can do this. Some have tried, they fell, no shade again. Talk to me about some of the feedback that you've received from this song here, man.
I think this is probably the only song where I've not received any negative feedback from, like, at all. And I don't know if that's because of the message or what it is, but the support has been a lot, especially from parents. I've had a lot of really moving messages from parents talking about things that have happened to their kids, like that have either passed away or here or have been very lucky. Like it's really, I don't know. I don't think I was prepared for it when I put out the song that it would do as well as it did, or to even get feedback like that. So it was quite moving to see that it helped people through certain times, or it's very relatable. And I don't know really, like it's just, it makes me feel like I've actually done something with that song. Like I like to feel I do something with all of my music, but I'm glad to know that one in particular resonated, because it's relative to a lot of people's lives.
Where does your history with grime begin? Like how far back, your personal journey with grime? Where does it begin? Your personal journey.
As a participant, or as a
listener, as a fan, not where you've researched back, but where you first heard the music, got involved in the music, ears turned up to the music.
Ears turned up, and not researched, because I wasn't around when F Radio was going on. It would probably be, I heard Who Are You? Chipmunk. I feel like that was my starting point, because I remember having that on MP3 whenever that came out. I can't remember how old I was at the time, because I don't know how old that song is, but I want to say I was like, well, if Chip was 16, that's about 10, 12 years ago, so I would have been, like 8, 9, 10. So you can see I was like a young kid, and it was just like cool.
On it.
Yeah.
And where did it develop from there?
Do you know, I've always been a musical person, but I liked grime because I recognized the slang, and it was cool, and like they would say stuff that my older brothers would say, and I was really vibing with it. And I'd say from there, I started to see more and more stuff. Other MCs, I started to see Gets and Devlin, and obviously Wiley, Dizzee Rascal, their songs a bit more. But then obviously it was confusing, because a lot of people done like pop songs for a while, and then it was like, as a kid, when you see someone do one thing and then do another, sometimes it's a bit confusing. But there were a lot of people that I just kind of like through and through, like spitters, like Chip, and then obviously I seen some bits with Criminal, and then that kind of made me want to go and learn about it more, because I was like, there was potholes in my knowledge of like the pop stuff, Chip, and then everyone doing their journeys, and then that's when I discovered F Radio, and that changed everything. That's if I didn't watch F Radio, I don't know if I necessarily would be spitting today, because the influence that had on me to want to go and be involved in that is amazing. Specifically, I think it was the under 18s one that Risky Roads on. It might have been under 16s that Gets and the movement that everyone brought through, and then there was the one with Gets' birthday, which is mad. Like I know most of those off by heart, it was crazy, but I think the main thing was that because there were a lot of young spitters, especially that Chip, Criminal, Little Nasty, people like that, it showed me that at a young age you can still kind of step into a room and get respect if you're a good MC, and that was kind of the first step towards wanting to be like that. It's
plain to see that the movement have had a big impact on you.
Oh yeah, my favorite.
Gets, Rhett, Scorcher, Merkston, Devlin, and also Chip.
Yeah.
Now, there was a time, I think maybe about a year ago, where there seemed like there was a bit of friction between you guys online. Now, give us some clarity on that. I don't know if you've spoken about it, but there was some friction, man. And I feel like there was misunderstandings as well.
Yeah. But, there's a lot of stuff gets lost in translation online. I can't even remember all of it, but the general gist was that it was people saying that no one would be able to keep up with him, and it was me going, well, like, let's test that theory. Pretty much, that's what it was. And then obviously it kind of just went back and forth for a little bit. It turned a little. It went a little way it probably shouldn't have. It could have been a lot more cleaner or whatever. But this is online. Like, it's one thing online, and then it's different when you have a conversation in person. And randomly, I performed at Field Day, and then we was backstage with Skepta and Chip and JME and everyone, and Chip had just randomly come walking along, like he was by himself, and I saw him, he said, well, God, and then we literally just spoke for about 25 minutes, like he left Skeppy and everyone else, he let them all go, and we just literally spoke for 25 minutes, and like about everything, like not even just about the situation, about everything, like just a good solid chat. And then I feel like we understand each other a little bit better. Like I feel like all the respect issues definitely got solved out. Yeah, man. He's actually a good guy. Like, I don't know what I expected, because what online you see one thing and then in person, like you always wonder if the person's gonna be like the same or if they're gonna be like a really stuck up or this or that. He's a blessed guy. He's a really blessed guy.
It's good to hear it went that way as well, because there's a lot of times where idols become rivals and it gets messy. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's good that it went that way, man.
No, definitely. We've seen each other a couple of times since then, yeah.
Now, coming through as a grime artist, as a grime MC, everyone sees you as a grime artist. You just touched on, you know, the beginnings of your history of like getting involved and hearing grime as a fan, and you speaking about how, you know, artists were making grime and then making other music, and it kind of become confusing. Yeah. How much of an obligation do you feel to keep that grime sound, be a grime MC, be a poster boy or a flag bearer for the genre? Is that anything that you care about, having that obligation?
Obligation, I don't think I have one. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a young man, I'm a musician, I'm still borderline finding my sound, first and foremost. Like, I've done 3 projects now, 3 grime projects, I've done a bag of sets, I've been doing it for like the last 3 years, but I'm still trying to find my sound. Like, I'm still experimenting with stuff, I'm still got other music, different sound and stuff. For me, it's all about balance. Like, grime is always where my heart is going to be. I'm never going to be able to switch up and permanently do another sound, because that's not where I started and that's not where my heart is. My heart will forever be with grime. Having said that, of course I want to experiment with some sounds. Like, people say there's a lot of similarities of sounds between grime and drill, whether that's like tempo slightly faster or certain sounds. Like, there's a lot of ways to incorporate aspects of other genres into grime, and obviously grime's development came around from garage and sounds and loads of different sounds anyway. So I feel like I'd be doing myself an injustice if I didn't experiment. Having said that, will I ever fully step away from grime? Hell no. Because like I said, I'm trying to be that poster boy. I want to be the next Stormzy. When people say in 10 years time, who is grime? Like, who's the grime guy? Like, the people walking down the street randomly, who do you know in grime? I want them to say me.
Are you tempted much by the UK drill sound? I know Skengdo and AM are like your peoples and that. Yeah. Are you tempted much by, you know, throwing your hat at doing much of that?
Do you know, I don't know, it's a weird one, because I feel like grime on drill is something that's really sick. So I done that for my Fire in the Booth, and I got a lot of positive reaction back from that, which was cool, because for me, I just felt like I was doing my grime thing. Like, the rhythm was pretty much 140. I was just doing my grime bars on it, but the reaction it got was quite cool, because obviously it's a flow that people don't usually hear. I'd never be tempted to start churning out like a bunch of solo drill songs, because it doesn't excite me like that, unfortunately. I feel like production in grime is a lot more varied, which is another reason why I like it. But if it was like someone shouted, like if Skender AM shouted me to come do a tune, or I was this place, and the timing was right, or it just worked out, then yeah, I'd do it. Why not?
You set up your own label from age 16, man.
16.
I mean, talk to us about the label and your plans, because there's a lot of artists that ain't as young as you that don't set up labels till way later. Yeah. And many artists don't even ever set up labels. So talk to us about your label and your plans for it, man.
So I set up a label at 16 because I wanted to.
Living Legends
Recordings. Because I wanted to own something. Like, I wanted to know that I can release my music and put my music out somewhere with something I own. I didn't just want to be forever under the thumb of someone else as just like a clog in their wheel. I wanted to be my main person of my own thing. I wanted to know that I've got the power to control my own where I want to go in life in terms of structurally with a label. So yeah, I mean, I set it up, I paid my money, I registered, I got everything sorted. And then it was like, cool. Now the work comes into it, because that was the easy part. Now you've actually got to put out stuff, you got to work for it. You got to do your logos, you got to get everything sorted. I mean, there was some times where I felt like dropping and just I don't know, like, it just got difficult trying to manage it all, or trying to just keep it active or anything like that. But I'm glad that I've stuck with it, because it's helped me to it's helped me to see kind of where I've come from, and it also helps me with the longevity, because sometimes it is really tempting to do something for the short-term benefits, but in reality, I really want to be here for the long term and I want to build a legacy. And I feel like having a label is something that's really important, because we don't necessarily have a Def Jam over here. You know what I mean? We don't necessarily have a Jay-Z or a P. Diddy that's setting up labels and doing stuff like that yet to that level. So who's to say that someone can't come along and do that? That's my aim. Although obviously before I can kind of look to other artists, I kind of got to get me to that level, really. But that's the aim long term.
You know, at such a young age, your business sense, your business acumen seems to be so on point, from, you know, setting up your own label at such a young age, owning your own YouTube, some of the movements that you've made, like with festivals and, you know what I mean, just getting things popping. Where do you get your business advice from? Because surely that hasn't all just came from yourself. I don't want to take it away from you, but
it sounds really simple, but you know, a lot of the stuff I learned is from Google. You know, you can Google all this stuff. Like if I didn't know what publishing was, I went and Googled it.
Just straight up.
And then once I Googled it, I would ask someone around me, like that I knew that was already in the music, is this definitely what that means or something? Like all the information about I don't know, about publishing, about masters, about anything you can think to do with music is just on Google. Like marketing advice, like stuff, it's all on Google. So, and when I first started and I said I was going to get into music, I researched it before I even put anything out for like a good couple months, because I wanted to know that I was getting into something that I had knowledge of. And to the point where even like mixing and stuff, like I taught myself how to mix, because I didn't have money for studio, and at the same time I didn't like when I was going studio and people were doing stuff to my voice on the computer and I didn't know what they were doing. So I taught myself how to mix, I taught myself how to master, I started learning, I bought myself a camera, I started learning about how to edit and film. Like it's not just the business side, it's like music full stop, the media entertainment side. I'm very much involved in everything I do hands on. I direct all my own videos, have done since day .1. I love what I do, and where I do this full time now, I feel like I owe it to myself to put every waking moment into this, especially if I want to get somewhere. You
just spoke about doing this full time now.
Yeah,
I know you kind of said off mic before that you had a job before, and you were doing you doing athletics before as well.
Yeah. So I was running for London at the age of 16, and obviously trying to do exams as well, which is like really tricky. And then around that time, that's when I actually went and got my job, because I didn't go to college. I got an apprenticeship and then got a full-time job for a big IT company. So, and then obviously the money from that is what I was using to fund my music to begin with, because I didn't have any money. So that's why I wanted a job as well, because I wanted money to put into my music. I wanted to invest in myself, innit? So yeah, I was running for London. I was doing my 9 to 5 and then music, but trying to balance all three was, and then obviously with exams and that, it just didn't work. So something had to go. So the music obviously stayed, the job had to stay, and then everything else kind of got dropped.
So you're techie with the IT then, yeah?
I am bad with computers, man. Yeah. That was me still.
Prince of Grime.
Yes.
I mean, there was a lot of fire on this, man. There was a lot of fire. Now, before we go into dissecting some of the things that you said, talk to me about the inspiration behind writing this song and putting this song out there.
The inspiration was, I felt like a lot of the people that obviously got sent for on the track, there'd just been a lot of stuff brewing over time. But I'm not necessarily a person that will take action when something happens immediately. Like I'm a tactician. You get me? I'm someone that reads a situation and works out when it's best to have my say. Because sometimes it's a bit foolish to just say something for the sake of it because you want to instantly reply. Having said that, I'm not someone that will let stuff slide if I feel like it shouldn't. So the inspiration just came from, I'm not even gonna lie, it was, I could have done that any point in time. I could have done that before the end of last year. It was probably when Stormzy and Wiley had their back-to-back, it made me excited again. Because a lot of times I don't lose my love, but I lose my excitement for music, for grime, for everything, like in general. So sometimes it takes a little moment to like get me excited and invigorated and go, yeah, okay, I'm gassed. I'm gonna go make a tune and I'm gonna just put it out and just So that's when I wanted to do that freestyle. I'd already been speaking to Rapid anyway, and then obviously I remembered that beat from the Movements, Fire in the Booth, and I loved it from then. But I didn't see there was a song out of it. There's obviously versions of like Top 3 Selected and Pepper Rhythm, but I'd never seen that version out as a song. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna use that instrumental. I like it. It's quite open as well, so people can hear what I'm saying. It suits my style. And then, yeah, Stormzy and Wiley got me excited again. timing was perfect. Yeah.
Shouts to Prince Rapid on the Dirty Producky. You get me? If you don't know about Rough Squad and that, do your research. You get me? I just want to touch on some of the lines, man, because you said, I know Bear Man will go silent if I ask them what they have done for grime.
What have they done for grime?
I mean, expound on that line, man.
Well, there's a lot of man in this scene, whether it's young people or legends, like, but if you actually ask them, other than just being a participant, what have you actually done? Like, what doors have you opened? What accolades have you achieved? What have you actually done for the betterment of the scene? A lot of people can't answer that question. They can tell you they've been a participant for a many amount of years or for a short time, or their love for it. But in terms of furthering the genre, whether that's through chart success, whether that's through setting up radio shows, whether that's through being a presenter, providing platforms, a lot of people can't answer that question. It's a difficult one, and especially if you compare it to people that have actually put up platforms. I mean, you got Risky Roads, legendary platform. Like you've got Target made his way to the BBC. Like you've got people in positions now that are better in UK music and grime. But there's a lot of people that haven't done a lot and seem to be proud of it just because they've been in this for a long time. And I find it difficult to respect that. Because there's a lot of people that have been in it for the same amount of time and have made a lot of it. You get me?
That's a lot of food for thought right there.
No shade though. It's just a very general statement there. No shade though.
I feel like you have some issues with Wiley as well. You said Wiley don't like that I work with Dizzee. We had a song together, but he didn't put it out. And you said a swear word. I can't really say that. You know what I'm saying? But is that the truth? Is that exactly how it went?
Yeah, I put a tweet out last night. So he put up a tweet and said, that I was lying or something. And then he deleted it. And then he blocked me. So I was like, okay. And then I put up the actual song with his verse on it. Oh. And it's a remix. So it's one of the songs that's off Welcome to Grime Street featuring Devilman Freeze. And then... a
song I played a lot still.
There's a version with him. That was the version. Both of them got recorded pretty much at the same time. Wiley's might even have got recorded first. Because I remember I got sent a clip of him while he was vibing to it. I'm recording it.
Why didn't you initially put it out though?
Because he said he didn't. He said take me off the tune.
Oh really?
Yeah, we was in the studio. Yeah, so he'd recorded it. We was in the studio. I was liking it. I said, cool, I'm gonna go. I gotta go. Blah blah blah. He said, and I said, I said to him, I'm gonna shout you about the video, about the plan and whatnot. I got some sick ideas for this. He said, yeah, cool. And then I left. And 5 minutes later, I get a phone call from someone that's not him. Saying, yeah, Wiley said take him off the tune.
Oh man.
He could have, if he didn't want to be on the tune, I have no problem with that. But he could have said that while I was in the studio face to face. I would have respected that. And I couldn't have even said anything about that because it just would have been, all right, I'm not feeling it now. It happens. But to talk through someone else is a bit crappy. And also to let me believe that we are moving forward with this and make plans and whatnot. And then last minute tell me no. That's a bit of a disrespect, especially from a legend to a young person as well, and especially from someone who's meant to be the pioneer, like doing that. Like it's just a bit of a taking a mick, really. A bit more than that.
You didn't have kind words for Jammer? I mean, was that just? Does that stem from anything personal, or is it just random?
Nah. It says on there, calling me family. Like this guy, the amount of times he's said, "Yes, I love you. Yes, you're like family to me." Blah blah blah. You know, I got you. If anyone troubled you, you know, blah blah blah. Everything I said on the track, literally, everything I said on there, facts, straight. Like from the Owen Man P's, from calling me family, from him not backing his brethren when something happened to his brethren. Everything I said on there was a fact, and it's sad as well because I don't know when like you think you're cool with someone and a man's like, yeah, your family, I got you, and then that's one thing behind closed doors and then another thing in public. Like there's so many conversations I've had with this guy behind closed doors that I'm not even gonna air out, just out of respect. Even if you don't have respect for me because you're doing a foolishness, I got respect that I ain't gonna air every single conversation out the door because there's bare stuff I could say that would discredit and make you look at people in a way that you didn't even realize you could look at them before. But I can't be asked with all that because I'm trying to just do my thing and my own career. But if people want to take the mick, which he does like to do a lot, then I'm gonna be at your neck straight. Picking
apart some of the lines on Prince of Grime, the freestyle that you put out, which is causing a storm Another line that you said, just because you're older than 30 in grime doesn't make you a legend.
Yes.
I mean, you just going in.
That one right there. The best thing about that one right there is it's not directed at anyone. So anyone that feels personally attacked by that bar, good. Because it wasn't directed at no one. It's a very general statement of, like I said earlier, there's a lot of people that have been in this for a long time that haven't necessarily done a lot. And unfortunately, procrastination is a really, really bad thing, and a lot of people are guilty of it. So you've kind of ended up in a position, a lot of it because of your own fault. Like, I don't know, a lot of people like to smoke. A lot of people like to drink. A lot of people like to just act silly. Like, I've seen certain people when they're in studio, how they act like they're not on it. Like, when I go to studio, I'm there to work. Like, there's a lot of differences. And a lot of people just feel like because they've been around Wiley or they were around Dizzee or because they were in a certain crew or that they're entitled to this title of a legend. When really you weren't. You're not a legend necessarily. You're just kind of old and you was around back then.
Now, I just want to put this on record as well. I don't know if you agree with this. Just because you're over 30 and you're still MCing and you're not a legend, don't mean you're a waste man.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because there's men that are doing their thing.
See what I'm saying?
There's a lot of men doing their thing.
I want to slightly put you on the spot then. Name some legends.
Name some legends.
Name some grime legends, man.
How many do you want?
I mean, just name as many as you want, man. Just go with it.
Sharky Major's a legend. Devlin's a legend. Getz is a legend. Chip is a legend. Flirter D's a legend. Skepta's a legend. JME's a legend. Flipping. Wretch is a legend. Kano's a legend. There's loads of legends. But you can be legendary not just for success, but for like of what you've brought to the genre. Like, for example, someone like Flirter D's not necessarily had as much success as someone as Skepta. But he's got a style that we will forever remember. Likewise, DEE. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are people that have brought something to the sound that has made it very unique, their own something. Like, DW was just on a flipping IKEA advert, like, with his same style and same pattern like usual. That's mad. That's legendary. Flirter D going, get up. That's legend. Like, you see what I'm saying? As well as obviously your Skeptas and your Dizzees and your Wileys, etc. So, but then there's other people that just kind of feel like because they're old, they can just throw their name in the mix.
Mad. Now, you put that in one of your bars that people thought you was an industry plant. Now, I want you to talk on record about this, just from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
What is your understanding in layman's terms of an industry plant, and why did people think you were one, man?
An industry plant is someone who's been positioned with major label backing or funds, but being told and given the appearance of an independent artist. Now, if I'm meant to be backed by some major label, can someone tell my bank account, please? Because the P should be way more for major label. You see what I'm saying? And I don't understand because, like, you can see my certificate of incorporation from my own label from 16. When you look at all my releases, you can always say license from Living Legends, which is my own label. I've explained that when I had my job, I put my money into my music. You can go check the catalog online. You can see that I've never been signed to a major or had anything. I don't really understand where this comes from. I feel like the only thing it comes down to is when you've achieved a level of success in a short amount of time that people can't necessarily explain, the easiest option is whatever they can kind of come up with. And obviously, it would be very easy for someone to say, oh yeah, but the reason he done that in grime and the reason he's so sick is because, yeah, this person just put loads of money into. Who? From where? Please, someone tell me, because I would love to know where the theories come from. Because the worst thing is, even I do it occasionally just because I'm bored sometimes, but I call people out on it. I'm like, okay, if I'm an industry plant, who is it backing me? No one ever answers me. If I'm an industry plant, why am I not like thousands and thousands of followers? Why am I not rich? Why am I not this? But like, no one can answer me. Like, if I'm an industry plant, then why was I at flipping Radar Radio and why was I at Mode FM in these random places just spitting bars in a crowded room with everyone? Like, why? Like, I don't understand. People think I'm independent.
Let me ask you this. Do you think there's a lot of, or a significant amount of industry plants that exist? Do you think this is actually a thing?
No. Tell her that. Possibly, but in grime, no, not at all. Grime is one of the most cutthroat, what you see is what you get genres.
This like, UK music thing though.
UK music thing?
Like this MC culture.
That's a different story.
Yeah, you think there's some industry plants out here?
that's the thing. I wouldn't necessarily say full blown industry plant, like say they signed a deal, kept it quiet and just pushed. But are there people that claim they're independent but have basically got a distribution deal with a major label and stuff like that? Yeah. There are a lot of that. Like I know a lot of people that have actually done that. But if that's what they want to do, whatever works for you. And that's not saying that taking a deal is a bad thing.
Being independent has become a grey area, you know?
Yeah. But but one thing that really annoys me is like when people put out songs and they're like, oh, I'm independent and it done this much with no promo, no video, no nothing. Well, then you're an idiot. Because you should have been doing promo and video and stuff. Like, respect your craft. Put in what you want to get out. Don't boast that you got this much with nothing in place. You're an idiot. You should have had something in place. If you don't respect yourself, like filming a video, you got an iPhone, film a video, man. It's free. You got social media. Promo your thing. It's free.
Straight up.
And it gets me vexed so many times because it's like people are proud that they can achieve something without putting effort in. And that's so jarring, which is why when people have the audacity to call me a plant, Donny, please, man. Like,
let me ask you this. Are you anti-major label signing, like being signed to one, or you like more inclined to be independent? Where do you lie on it?
I don't feel two ways about like either. Like it's whatever works for me at the time. Like right now, if a major label deal worked for me, then it worked for me. Right now, if an independent worked for me, it worked for me. It changes. I feel like as music evolves and the way we digest music is evolving, and even content in general, I feel like the wheels will forever keep kind of changing. Like it might work now, it might not work in the future. Having said that, it depends. Like because you've got people like I don't know D Block Europe that are putting out music independently and then making their money, but if a major label comes along and says, here's 10 million, like 10 million is 10 million, innit? Like, obviously what you're earning independently is a regular income. Obviously a large advance or sum of money like that is not necessarily a regular occurrence. It's a bit longer, but whatever works for you. And all these people talking about, don't take a deal and a deal is crap. You can't speak on the situation of everyone because you don't live the life of every artist. You don't live the life of the indie singer. You don't live the life of the grime MC. You don't live the life of the Afrobeats artist. Like it's everyone's situation.
Everyone's route's different, man.
Exactly.
Straight up. Now, Prince of Grime, you definitely came in swinging, top of the year, do you know what I'm saying? So you sent, you know what I'm saying? And we're in a time right now, obviously everyone knows about the Stormzy and Wiley thing. Yeah. I feel like everyone's like, few artists are sending and all that. Like you've sent, you know
I actually wanted to wait until the Stormzy and Wiley one died down a little bit because I didn't want to just jump on the bandwagon.
But how do you respond to being sent for? I mean, are you up for that? Artists sending for you?
That's the thing. Anyone can send for me by all means. I mean, my name... I genuinely feel like a young chip in this generation because I feel like everyone has tried to go at me. And from what I've seen of F Radio and back in the day, everyone tried to go at Chip as well.
What's your response though? How do you deal with that?
You're more than welcome. Do you know, as a person, I've been through a lot in life. You get me? I grew up quite quickly. I got thick skin, full stop, and I wouldn't have stepped in music if I didn't. So people chatting my name doesn't mean a thing to me, first and foremost. Secondly, if you want to send for me, you can send for me. But there's a limit to what I can reply to because if I start replying to every 25 people that send for me every single day, then I'd be here all day, innit? And it would take priority over my music career, which is never going to happen. So for me to take time out of my life, which I only have one of, and to also take time out of my music career, which I invest a lot of time and my own funds into, to give you a arse whooping and slap you up on a track and duppy you and bury you and solidify your place in the dirt. Like, it's got to be something that's going to make a worthwhile situation, man. Otherwise, what's in it for me? In fact, it's actually a detriment to me because I'm taking away time from something else I should be doing. So that's why when a lot of people are like, oh, you need to reply to this person, you should reply to this person. Well, if there's no benefit to me and it's going to cost me time, whether that's time to film a video, time to record, I'm not going to waste my time in an investment, which is basically what warring is, pretty much, because it's there for sport, it's there for betterment. You're meant to do something good off the back of it. I'm not going to invest my time into something like that that's not worthwhile. And if it is worthwhile, then I'm there for it. I'm all there for it.
One of your latest singles featuring Dizzee Rascal.
Yes.
Back It. Talk to me about connecting with Dizzee Rascal.
It was a surreal moment for me because I'd been hitting him up for ages from beforehand, and then I just kind of saw him and he was there. I was like, yo, I'm Yizzy. He was like, yeah, I know who you are. You've been messaging me. I was like, rah, so you see that in your head, man. But no, obviously he didn't know who I was or nothing. And then when we got to talking, he understood me a bit better. Like, I looked up to him a lot. He kind of saw that. We clicked, and then on a musical level, and we just started collabing and started making music in it. Like, I went studio a couple of times. We got quite a few stuff in the works, like production wise, vocal wise. And then yeah, man, he out of all the legends I've met and that I've kind of just shown love straight away from the get-go. I mean, I met him on like a Friday. We was in the studio by like a Monday. And I think the only other two people that have shown me love like that, like whether it's like hitting me up on the phone or anything like that, has probably been Chip when I saw him, and then probably Gets, if I'm honest. Like, other people have shown love, don't get me wrong, but in terms of like whatever you would class as a legend, or people that wouldn't necessarily, they have no obligation to absolutely acknowledge me at all, but do. There's a lot of love shown there.
That's good company, man. You know what I'm saying? That's
and it means
company.
a lot because I'm a supporter in it. I'm a fan. Like, these are people that are my heroes. So that alone on a surface level is enough for me. Like, I appreciate that a lot.
Hey, listen, we've had a good conversation today. They say my interviews are hotter. They don't say it for no reason, you know what I'm saying? My interviews are hotter. It's a good conversation today, right?
I liked it still. I don't do these often, so I like it.
That's good, man.
Nah, enjoy it.
SK Vibemaker.